Hope Channel, changing lives.
I welcome you, my dear viewer, to this Hope Family Live program. It's just an important program that we have decided to bring to you today for you to understand what is going on around us in terms of our laws. We thank God so much that today is Thursday. I'm your usual host, Mrs. Betty Adome. Today we are going to discuss about our illegal issues. Yes, last week we started with accuser and accusation and accused. We were able to go through how people are being accused, why they do accuse people, and the intention of the accusation, the various implications, the psychological effects of accusation. Today we want to see if there are any legal implications of accusation. And because of that, we have a wonderful woman here to be with us to educate us on other aspects of accusations when it comes to the legal aspects. And so we have our dear sister here, Jacqueline Asante Mensah, who is a managing attorney at Asante Mensah and Associates. Jacqueline, you are welcome.
Thank you, Betty.
How are you?
I'm doing well by God's grace.
I'm so grateful to have you today.
It's my pleasure to be here.
I hope you are not going to put to me.
No, since we are not in court, I won't put it to you.
I'm so
you
grateful.
Are free.
Please don't put it to me.
I won't.
Today, I want you to give us all the legal terms that we need to know. So you put it to me. What's next?
I won't put it to you. If I put it to you, you can object to it. So
Very
you
good.
Raise an objection.
I raise an objection. Objection. Hey, bam. Then you say objection overruled.
Yes.
Oh, thank you so much. It's a wonderful evening. You know, family life always stands for the family.
Yes.
And before we begin our program, we always want to commit ourselves into the hands of the Almighty God, because He holds the world. He holds family together. In a season like this where families are going through challenges,
yes,
we want God to support them. So a short prayer will do.
Okay.
So let's pray shortly and then we'll go. Our dear Father, we thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to interact with your children back at home. Father, virtually we want your children to know exactly what is going on around us, the legal implication of some of the things that we do in our homes and in our society. We pray that you let your presence be with us and direct our affairs. Help our viewers to understand so that together we can live to glorify your holy name. As your children, help us to avoid all issues that will send us to court and legal implications of our actions. We believe that you'll be with us. Thank you for hearing our prayer in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
See that?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, from your description, you say you are a managing attorney.
Yes.
I just want to understand that. As for me, my area is science. So tell me something.
Okay, so it's just that I'm a lawyer.
Okay.
And with where I work, that is the position that I hold. Okay. So it's just like being a managing director of, you know, a limited liability company, because it is a firm.
Okay.
And it is run by lawyers. I'm the one in charge of running the firm. So that's my designation when it comes to where I work. But simply, I'm just a lawyer. Okay.
Yes. So girls, how has your girls life been like?
Well, it's been okay. It's been okay. I think that God has been good to me. So far, I've been able to achieve a lot of the goals that I set for myself while growing up.
Good.
So I'm just, you know, it's been good. It's been good. I can't complain. Yes, I can't complain.
So before we go into our topic, I just want you to encourage a girl who wants to pursue law.
Okay.
What do you want to tell that girl?
So what I would say to a young girl, even a woman, no matter how old you are, it is never too late. Okay. There is no age limit for pursuing this career. If this is what you really want to do, don't let anybody discourage you. Study very hard. Be committed to that goal and the purpose. Be aligned with the right people, your peers, who also have the same kind of intention to be, you know, to attain certain heights in future. Okay. Ensure that you have mentors who will guide you on the right path, and no matter what, don't give up. because it's not an easy journey. So no matter what, don't give up.
Okay, so no matter what, don't give up, my dear girl who wants to be like our dear attorney. So we are into our discussion.
Yes.
Accusation and the law. Yes, I always say that when you are in a country and you have your freedom intact, you think that there are no laws until your freedom is taken from you. So let's see if accusation is one of the things that can take our freedom from us. Accusation, can we consider it to be a criminal case?
Well, accusation per se is not a crime, or we can't qualify it as an offense, because the offenses in Ghana have all been codified in our Criminal and Other Offences Act. That's the Act 29. So you wouldn't find any specific offense called accusations. However, if you are accused of any crime by somebody, okay, then you can find yourself wanting, because you become an accused person and you have to go through the criminal process or the criminal procedure to ascertain whether you are actually guilty of that offense or not. So this is where I can place accusations. Although there is no offense in Ghana called accusation, maybe the offense of accusation, just like how we have murder, we have rape, defilement, and all those things. Yes, but if you are accused, or if somebody points a finger at you and says that Mr. A has done something which is a crime, you become an accused person.
Okay.
Yes, and so as an accused person, by the time you go through the criminal process, either you are exonerated or your freedom is taken away from you, or whatever punishment has been prescribed by law for that crime. If you are found guilty, that punishment will be meted out to you.
Okay, so if the person is found guilty before he goes through that court, but let me find out, for instance, you are accusing somebody of a criminal case, okay, and then later it's found out that it is not a criminal case. The accused, the one who is accusing the person, is there any legal implication to that offense, or is it an offense to the person, or what do you call it?
So the accuser.
The accuser.
That's what you mean. Okay. So if you accuse someone of an offense, at that point you are called the complainant.
The complainant.
And then usually during the criminal procedure, you'll be required to give evidence, you know. So you would have to call witnesses, and you know, and sometimes you have people who come in who will say something that, you know, they didn't see, and they will say a whole lot. And if God is not on your side and there is overwhelming evidence against you, then you might find yourself wanting. So the law gives makes provision for such situations, okay, because we take it as you are lying to the court, and that is what we call perjury. Okay. And perjury is a criminal offense. So when you give any false statements willfully, you are not under pressure. You give it willfully under oath to a court or a public office, that offense in itself is called perjury, because you have lied. Okay. So it is perjury. And for such a crime, it is a second-degree felony. Okay. Meaning you can be sentenced to about 10 years imprisonment, you know, for that crime. Just that's lying. Lying. Just that. You know, and then where you committed perjury with the intention to cause the conviction of, let's say, the accused person. Okay. You know, so your intention, so your intention was to cause the accused person to be convicted of a crime like murder, then perjury becomes a first-degree felony offense.
Okay.
So you can go in for life.
Oh.
Yes. So it is serious, and perjury doesn't only happen in courts.
Okay.
Perjury can happen outside of courts. You know, there is this thing that is very common in Ghana. Somebody will say, oh, I'm going to swear an affidavit. I'm going to swear an affidavit.
Very
and we
good.
take it very lightly, but we shouldn't, because it is an oath that you take. You understand? It is an oath that you take. So whatever the affidavit is for, if it's to change your name, if it's to correct anything, you know, once you swear that oath, yes, once you swear that oath, meaning you are saying that everything that you are saying is true to the best of your knowledge. So if we find out that it is not true, then you've committed perjury. Yes. So those swearing affidavits here and there, yes.
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 So for instance, like a change of birth certs.
Yes, maybe your birth
certificates
is missing, and then you want a new one. They will tell you that, oh, bring an affidavit to show that, you know.
But you just
then
pass
you
through
write
that
on
corner
it,
and then
yes,
somebody does it for
the
you.
commissioners, and then you just give false information. You can't be convicted for the offense of perjury if found out. Yes.
And that one will land you into how many years in
That
prison?
is a second-degree felony. Once it doesn't involve you giving evidence with the intention to cause the imprisonment, yes, of somebody who is being charged for murder, then perjury on its own becomes a second-degree felony. Yes.
Okay. So let's come to let's come to a situation whereby you've gone to court with an accusation. Let me say, like a complaint that maybe, for instance, somebody have raped a person or so, but you've noticed that what you are saying is truly a lie, and then you go back. Is there a possibility that you can go back and say, no, I came with this accusation, but I want to retract it?
Oh, yes. It happens all the time. It happens all the time. Sometimes even people in prison, you know, maybe they lied that, oh, I went with this person. Maybe they didn't know the person from anywhere. Okay. So when both of them are convicted and they are in prison, when the other person has a change of heart, you can always come out and say that, no, I lied. I lied. And in that case, you know that the punishment for perjury would apply to you. Okay. But you have every chance to make amends. So if you've lied about somebody, you've gone to the police station and then you have given a complaint and you've accused somebody of having committed an offense that the person clearly did not, you can always go back, even if the case is in court. You can say that, you know what, I lied, I don't want to, you know, continue anymore, you know, so then the case will be dropped against the accused person.
And in this case, what becomes of the complainant? You have lied, you have dropped the case. Do you have to go scot-free?
No, you don't have to go
can the accused sue you for lying?
Okay, so when it comes to the, you know, criminal offenses are prosecuted by the states. Okay. So although maybe you kill Mr. A, it is the states that would prosecute you because it is an offense. So the state will take charge and prosecute you. But where you, the accused person, you also want to, you know, deal with this person, you can go the civil way. You can go the civil way. So what you can do is to sue for damages that this person lied and then has caused me A, B, C, and D. Maybe because of the accusation leveled against me. I was arrested. I was detained for 2 days. Because of that, my child who was sick could not get medical attention. maybe my house caught fire, you know, I have suffered some consequences because of, you know, this person's accusations, which the person himself has come out to say were lies. And so I want the court to compel him to give me some money to compensate me, you know, for the pain that I have been through. So you can go to court and then seek that kind of relief, which is damages. Okay. To compensate you. That is usually in the form of money.
In the form of,
yes.
Do court investigate those damages you bring?
Yeah. So you see, for civil cases or civil processes. Okay. Whenever you file anything in court, whether it's a writ or an application or whatever, and then you have reliefs, you are asking the court for something. So, for example, this one, the reliefs that you are asking for are an amount of 3 million Ghana cedis, you know, as damages for the things that you have suffered. Yes. He would probably also respond and say that maybe it didn't go like that, you know, and so the court should not give you that amount of money. So you have the duty to go on and then prove your case, why you think you deserve that amount of money. You prove that to the court, and then they would also prove why they think you don't deserve that money. Then the court will weigh the two, the evidence you have given, the evidence the other person is given. So you have maybe the plaintiff and then the defendant. So the court will weigh the weight of your evidence and then see which one is more likely to be, you know, true over the other. Yes. So once you go to court and you are asking for 3 million, it doesn't mean the court will just give you the 3 million. You would have to prove, and the court will also even look at what you have suffered, whether the 3 million is enough or is too much, you know, or it is lower than what you are asking for, before you be given what the court thinks is fair in the judgments.
So in this case, when the court finds out that you didn't suffer anything and you have presented a case that you suffered this and that and so you want this damage, can you also be in trouble?
Well, because it's a civil case, what will happen is that it means the judgment will not go in your favor. The judgment will go in favor of the other party who said you haven't suffered anything. Okay. And then what usually happens is that the other party can ask the court for cost against you because you have wasted his or her time. You've dragged me to court when you know that I haven't done anything to you, or it didn't even go that way. So at the end of the day, you don't even deserve anything, but you've dragged me to court. I have incurred legal fees by, you know, contracting a lawyer, paying the lawyer, paying filing fees. So we would usually petition the courts to give costs in our favor. You understand? And then maybe order that the person pays your legal fees. Yes. So you would pay cost for wasting the court's time.
Okay. Now let's come home. You know, of late we have a lot of information on social media and the rest. So let's come to our social media platforms. If I really want to, can I damage somebody on my social media platform and still go scot-free, or be considered as a criminal case and then go into any criminal action?
Well, you can damage somebody's reputation. You really can. You know, a lot of the things that people say, it's not even on social media alone. Okay. You know, sometimes just gossip, it starts here, then it goes there, it becomes something big. It's all over, and some of the things could be something that is very damaging to somebody psychologically. You know, there are people who have killed themselves because of something they heard, you know, somebody say about them. So, I mean, in this day and age, social media only makes it easier for information to be disseminated, you know, to be transported and shared, all over within seconds. So once you say something that is false or something that is damaging to a person's reputation, that is defamation. You know, whether it's direct or indirect. Sometimes it can be indirect, but you can see that the objects or the references and everything is pointing to you, just that they haven't mentioned your name.
Okay.
You know, but you know it is you. And there are times when they will come out and clearly mention your name, that you have done A, B, C, and D. You understand? So you, the person who has been, who has suffered as a result of what has been said about you, you can go to a civil court and seek redress.
Okay.
Yes, you can go to a civil court and then seek damages. First, you can ask that the court seizes the person from saying those things about you, and then asks for a certain amount of money to compensate you for the lies that the person has said that has probably destroyed some relationships that you have, maybe business relationships. You know, maybe you were dealing with somebody, you know, the transaction was very close to the end, but because of what they heard about you, they've cancelled that contract.
Okay.
So you need to be compensated. You know, it's not just psychological, you know, but any form of suffering, whether it's monetary, whether it's physical, whether it's psychological, then you ask the court for damages or some form of compensation from the person who was peddling that information.
But let's take our WhatsApp, for instance, where we share messages from here and there, and then you are not able to trace the specific person yet, but you see that a lot of people are sharing those accusations or those information. Is it possible that you can see all those in that chain?
If you can identify them. If you can, if not, the last person who sent it to you, that is the person that you can identify.
Okay.
Yes. So you would want them to stop doing that. If maybe in the message, for instance, if it's a newspaper publication, definitely you would see that it is coming from whatever, person. Maybe this newspaper, B newspaper. So you go and attack the newspaper directly. But if it's some form of hearsay, you know, information being passed on from one person to the other, and you just don't know where it's coming from, but then you identify a particular person who is, you know, or who seems to be spreading that kind of information, then you can pick on that person.
Okay, so for the court order to be, how will it be placed on the spread of the message? How will that be done?
Oh, the court to give an order for the person doing it to stop, to desist from.
But here is the case that it's a circle of people. For instance, everybody is sharing.
Yes, that is why I'm saying if you can identify the source, maybe it's a newspaper that published it. Maybe it is a TV station that viewed it. Then it doesn't matter who else is spreading the information. The source is the TV station. Okay. They are the originators. So you go directly to them to stop doing that. But maybe if it is hearsay, so it is not a publication per se, but hearsay, then you've heard, oh, this person said, this person, you know, it's just going round and round.
Okay, Jackie, I will let you hold on this, and then we will go for a short break.
All right.
When we come back, we are going to pick calls from our viewers and then read your WhatsApp messages. So you can just call on 055 9680066, 055 9680066. Call us and let us know whether you have been accused. What do you want to do? If you want anything to share with us, your experience, or you want any comments, or you want to join the discussion, you can call. You can send us on WhatsApp message too. You can also go to Facebook and put your comments there, or YouTube. We will read about it. We'll go for a short break. When we come back, we'll continue the discussion.
the glory.
Great and mighty things he has done.
The Phoenix Ghanaian SDA Church Choir presents to you a virtual concert on the theme, Our Wondrous Story.
Ghanaian fan Nijian to Christa on Wadon. Yati and Safra dum to Fuel Kukudam Binom say, and like a champion of young missionaries fame.
Mommy Jane, the Symphonials.
Other member class be free Denver, Dallas, Houston, and Riverside.
Royal Adventist Choir and the Vocal Park. It is happening on the 5th of June 2021 at 1:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time,
and 8:30 p.m. GMT.
Come and join us as we worship God. We would meet on Zoom and it will be streamed on Facebook and YouTube. Come and be blessed. Tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell a friend.
Viewer, where we're going, we're still talking about accusation and the law, and I'm with my dear sister Jackie Mensah, Asante Mensah, who is a managing attorney. She's here explaining a lot of issues that can lead us into court issue when it comes to accusation or bearing false witness against somebody. I'm your usual host, Mrs. Betty Adom, and I believe you have enjoyed a lot. As we said, you can join us on our WhatsApp line and then on Facebook, and we'll read your comment. And so we were discussing about this, so continue with us where we ended. I was just finding out the various social media platforms, yes, and then the TV station. So for instance, if a journalist sits on a TV and then says something that is not true, yes, okay, about somebody, then it means that the person can pick. Can the person sue the entire TV station or just the person who is doing the discussion?
Okay, so you can sue both of them. In law, we have something that we call vicarious liability, and it simply means when the liability of a person is extended to the organization in which the person works, or it's extended to a third party, okay, by reason of their relationship. Okay. So for instance, I work with Hope, and then I sit here as a presenter and I say something. Somebody has mandated me to sit here, which is my employers, which is Hope. Yes. Okay, I know this wouldn't happen. So it's just an example. So Hope has mandated me to sit here. Okay. Before a program goes on, there is a whole crew, a production crew, you know, that prepares, and then I am just the forefront. Other people are in the background. In the organization, you have a programs manager whose duty it is to assess what programs are being aired, whether they are fit for the screen. There is somebody whose job it is to analyze the content of what is being done, to avoid liabilities. So that is the assumption that is given, especially to corporate institutions. Okay. So once a presenter sits on a certain platform, the person is saying something based on a certain authority or permission that he has. Okay. So if I do anything, then it's my employer can be linked to it. So once I say something, I can be sued in my personal capacity as the presenter who actually said it. And then you sue the company in addition, because the company is supposed to be responsible for you and whatever you do or say. Okay. So that is what we call vicarious liability. And usually it is even advisable to do that. This is really legal advice. Because the person sitting there may not even have the financial ability or capability to pay whatever damages you are asking for.
Oh, so you are telling
so
people.
The corporate institution, yes, you know,
that is where you get money.
Yes, you know, so the corporate institution would also be liable, and then the money can come from there or from both of them. Yes, so when you are doing something, be careful, because your whole institution can't be held liable as well.
Okay, so let me find out, in case, like just this scenario that you are given, the person has gone to court with all these accusations. Can you just say that, okay, per the relationship, people have talked to me and the rest, so I'm just dropping or retracting my accusation, my complaint, and then we will settle it at home? Can that be possible?
Oh yes, you can. You know, usually in Ghana, and as a matter of fact, all over the world, legal systems are pushing.
But before you go on, we want to remind our viewers that you can call us on 05596800066. We want to interact with you. So let's hear you. What are your thoughts on what we are discussing? You can also send us WhatsApp message, and then we'll read your message out. So you can continue.
Yes, so as I was saying, we are in a certain legal dispensation all over the world where we are pushing for alternative dispute resolution.
Okay.
Because litigation involves a lot. It can be costly. It usually takes a length of time because there is the civil procedure that you have to follow, you know, so that there is fairness.
When you finish, you walk us through some of the procedures.
Okay, and then there's a whole lot of things.
Okay.
So all over the world, we are pushing for alternative dispute resolution. And one of the mechanisms is mediation, you know, or even arbitration.
Okay.
And so if there is an issue, usually what you will do is that your lawyers will usually write to the person who is defaming you or the entity and tell you that, hey, stop. I heard this, I saw this, is coming from you. Stop it. I'm giving you maybe 24 hours. Retract, you know, the information publicly and say you lied and, you know, so on and so forth. Otherwise, I will proceed to court.
Okay.
So once you are given that opportunity, that is the opportunity for you to resolve the matter there and then.
Okay.
By desisting from what you are doing. And then maybe you can call, apologize on your platform, and then, you know, the matter goes to rest.
Okay.
But if you don't do it within that time that the person has given you, then the person has every right to, you know, proceed and go to court. You understand?
Yes, yes.
And I mean, the person can also say they won't write to you, but they'll go to court straight away. But
also in two scenarios, the person can decide to write.
Yes, the person can just go to court.
Okay.
But then because...
But is it right to just go to court without writing to the person?
Yes, there is no law that restricts you from going to court right away.
So I can't say you did not inform me that you are going to court.
No. I don't have to inform you. I don't have to inform you. But since it is the mission or the vision of legal systems now to promote alternative dispute resolution, because we want to lower the volume of cases in court.
Okay.
So something like this, it can be settled, you know, at home. You know, as we say, at home. Yes. That means out of court. So issues that can be settled out of court, you give an opportunity for it to be settled out of court. And even in court, for civil processes, we always have what we call the pre-trial conference, which has been instituted here. So before you go into cross-examination and whatnot, the court gives you an opportunity to settle the case at that point.
Okay.
So that's the pre-trial conference, which wasn't there before, but it's been put into the court system for a number of years now, and I think that
has it been helpful?
Yes, extremely helpful.
So does that mean that when I go to the pre-trial conference and we agree that we'll settle it in the home, will I be able to receive the money that I want to, or that one has its own?
No, so at the pre-trial conference, that is when we look at what you have brought before the court, and then we look at what he is saying, and we are trying to get to a certain level playing field. So it is mediation. We are trying to settle. It's a settlement. Okay. So if I am very understanding, I can decide to let the money go, but then maybe I'll say, well, I have employed a lawyer, so pay my legal fees.
Okay.
Or maybe, okay, since this is spiritual, okay, whatever, so let me reduce the amount. Okay, I wanted 3 million. Okay, it's okay, you bring 300,000. And then if you'd also agree to pay, then it means the matter is settled there and then at that point.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Then walk us through some of the, because you are talking about civil, criminal, and let's see how the processes are, or the processes are the same. If it is a civil case, if it is a criminal case, what are the processes? Okay,
so for criminal cases, as I think I mentioned that earlier, that the prosecution is done by the state.
Okay,
so the case is always between the Republic of Ghana and then the accused person. Although there is the complainant who will go and actually lodge the complaint at the police station, the prosecution is done by the state. So you have the Republic versus, the accused person. And first, if maybe an issue is reported, then the job of the police comes in.
Okay, so before you go, let me ask, when it is between the states, who pays the lawyers? Am I allowed to pick my own lawyer, or the state picks a lawyer and then pays the work of the lawyer? Or I'm still involved?
Okay, so we have state attorneys who deal with cases that the state has to prosecute. So that is why we have the Attorney General's Department. The Attorney General's Department is not just for government, government issues. That is when we hear the AG, no. They also help in prosecuting criminal cases. So those are employed by government and they are paid by government. Then the accused person, you have the opportunity to choose a lawyer.
Okay.
So you pay the lawyer. You understand? But for the states, it's the state's lawyer who would handle it. Okay. Which is the Attorney General's Department. There are a lot of lawyers there. So they handle it. So the police comes in and then they do their investigations, they take you to court, then you are put through the due court process depending on the type of crime that you have committed. There are some crimes that you need a jury to be present. Okay. There are some crimes that cannot be prosecuted in certain courts because they are lower courts, and then there are some crimes that can go through, the lower courts. So all that will depend on the type of crime. So that is just basically, if I want to take you through all that, that is 1 year course. That is 1 year course. Well, when it comes to the civil side, when it comes to the civil side, it is usually between individuals or institutions. So that is like private law, yes. And so both of you, one person will be the plaintiff, and then another person will be the defendant, as opposed to the criminal case where you have the accused person, you have the prosecution, and then you have a complainant there helping the prosecution, yes. So in this case, you have the plaintiff and then you have the defendant. The plaintiff is just like a complainant. In some countries, they refer to the person as the complainant. Okay. So you are taking your issue to court. So and so has done this to me. I bought land. He has taken my money. He hasn't paid. All those things come under civil process. Cases. So with the civil process, we start with a writ, by issuing a writ. There are some processes or some issues that are started by a petition. For example, a divorce, a divorce case. You don't issue a writ, you petition the court. So it is called a petition. But usually for the others, it is the writ. So it is the writ of summons. So they will say, oh, wasamame. Summons. You have been summoned before the court. Yes, that's the writ of summons. Yes. With the statement of case, you know, that the person would attach to it, and then you, the defendant, will have the opportunity to respond, also in writing, you know, in responding to the averment that the person, you know, has put up. And then there is a whole process. It goes on and on, back and forth, until it's time for you to appear before a judge. Then maybe you can have the pre-trial conference. If it's settled, bingo. Other than that, you go through a full trial where you file your written witness statements, then you are cross-examined. That is when the I put it to you, you are put in the box, then the I put it to you comes in. Okay. And then after that, the lawyers file their written addresses. Then the judge comes out and gives judgments. Oh, okay. So yes, that's a that's a major difference. Wow.
So we are still on Family Life, and we are discussing accusations and the law. My name is Mrs. Betty Adam, and I'm here with Madam Jackie Mensah, Asante Mensah. She's a managing attorney, and this lady is really giving us, she's putting it to us. So she put it to you that you can reach her through this discussion on 055 9680066. Let's hear from you. We want to hear from you, want to interact with you, to know exactly what you are going through. If you have an experience, have you been accused before? What was the process? Have you been, have your character been defamed before? How was it like? We want to hear from you. And so we'll continue with our dear sister. Yes, we were talking about the social media. Let's come to social media users. Yes. Okay. So, for instance, I just went and then put something there, unintentional. I'm just writing something, maybe it just came to my mind and I wrote, and then somebody saw it, and then the person is, no, this person is writing about me. Can the person take me on? And when the person takes me on, is it also part of these cases that can land me into court? Okay. I didn't premeditate it. Yes. I hope you are getting me. Yes. I get it.
So, I mean, for that, unless you mistakenly wrote the person's name there, or, you know, specifically referred to the person, it will be up to the person to actually prove that you were actually talking about him or her. Okay. And then you can also defend yourself that, no, I wasn't talking about you. And I think that there are instances where, you know, sometimes even in church, a pastor is preaching and some people think it's about
the preaching them. Is for me.
But maybe it is not about you. It is a general scenario, a general thing, you know, that other people go through, you know. So it will actually depend on what is actually put there. You know, what is actually put there. Maybe your relationship with the person. Do you even know this person? Maybe I don't know you from anywhere. I've never met you before. We haven't been in any sort of situation. There is no background fights or anything, you know, underpinning that for me to have a reason to want to say something about you. And I think that when it comes to such things, it should be very clear that you are the person that we are talking about. Okay. It should be very, very clear.
So unless the person becomes specific that so I'm writing about you. Yes. If not, no one, whether you know the situation is just really about you, you can't still take the person on.
Well, anybody can go to court, but as to whether you would get the relief, because the court is there for you. Okay. You go in civil, the judge will weigh, you know, the evidence and look at which one is more probable. You understand? Because there are times when you can have innuendos. The person is, you know, in a subtle way. Yes. I'm not mentioning your name, but I'm mentioning your name. You see.
Your friend said,
but you know that, you know, but in instances like that, there is usually something, you know, behind, because how are you going to prove to the court? Okay. You live somewhere. I've never met you before. I don't know you. I just put a general statement on Facebook and you sue me that I was talking about you.
You know very well that the person is really talking about you.
No, but how would you know? That would depend on maybe a certain relationship that you've had, or you know that. But if I don't know you from anywhere, and for instance, I just put something general on my Facebook, and you're sitting in Wenchi or Tamale or somewhere, and you just see it and you think this person is talking about me. I haven't mentioned your name. It is probably a general thing. We have never crossed paths. I mean, there should be a link, you know.
Yes.
So it would be difficult for you to prove your case. Yes, in court, it will be very difficult for you. But where maybe it's a media house, you know, one of their major duties or whatever is dissemination of information. And so if it's coming from a media house, and you know, it is usually even on point, even when they don't mention the person, sometimes you can tell they are talking about this person, because it will be the news. Yes. It will be something that is current, something that is ongoing. Yes. So, but for individuals where we've never crossed paths, I don't know you from anywhere, how did I get to know this information about you? It might be very difficult for you to prove in court that truly, you know, I have defamed you.
Wow. In fact, today's discussion has been a wonderful one. Just before we wrap up, our time is almost due. So before we wrap up, I want you to say a little to our bloggers, our social media, those social media users. How should we be careful on the things that we put out there?
Yes, I think that if you are somebody that is into journalism, first and foremost, there are rules and regulations governing the ethics of the profession, just like any other profession. And so if you are a true journalist, you know that you can't just say anything anyhow. There are certain things that you even want to say that you must seek permission from the person that it, you know, concerns before you put it out there. But unfortunately, most of these people, bloggers, are not journalists.
Yes.
They haven't been trained, and so they probably do not know. And I think blogging in itself, it's a new sort of career that is springing up, you know, from social media. It is, you know, social media based. And so I would say that you should be very careful. Watch what you say about people, about situations. Watch what you write, because once you put something on social media, it's there forever and ever, you know. And so you can do unqualified or unquantified damage to somebody's reputation, you know, and then life. And so you should be extremely careful if you don't want to incur any form of liability onto yourself. Then you should be very, very, very careful what you put on social media, because somebody can take you on for that.
Okay, so now that we are on family life, we can't go without telling or saying anything to our families out there.
Yes.
So in light of what we've discussed, what advice or what message will you give to our family members, our family out there on accusation, civil laws, and then the criminals ones? What can you say to our lovely viewers?
What I'll say to family is that when something happens, unless you have seen it, unless you're a witness, you know, unless you are very sure of what you are saying, do not be quick to say something. Maybe because there is a rift in the family, because you don't like that person in the family, and so you give false witness. You become a false witness against that person, or you give a false testimony. We should be very, very careful, because when we do that, all that we are going to do is to break the family system. Accusations, when it comes in families, can cause a lot of havoc, because by the time you are through with whatever criminal process or whatever civil process, things will never be the same again. So we should be very careful what we say and how we say it, especially, you know, in families.
Wow. Wow, wow, we are so grateful. We are so grateful for coming, Madam Jackie Asante Mensah, our attorney. In fact, you have given us a lot of information that at least when we go and sit down, we will anytime we want to accuse somebody, we will know exactly how to go about it, whether to weigh it. Am I going to be in trouble or I'm not going to be in trouble? We want to say a very big thank you for staying with us, and wants to also say thank you so much to our sponsor. The dress I'm wearing, the cloth, is from ATL. ATL Akosombo Textiles has given us something, and that's a beautiful dress. So we want you to we want to send our big thank you to our sponsor for giving us dress, ATL, bringing fabrics to life. And so if you want to be in the beautiful dress for any occasion, ATL is there for you. And we want to also just say to you that always get in touch with us every Thursday, 8 p.m. and let's get interactive. We are going to zoom into another aspect next week. You know, we are entering into Father's Day, so we want to concentrate our attention a little on fathers. So next week, make a date with us as we discuss about our fathers. If you have anything to also say to your father, just get in touch with us, and we'll be so happy to talk about your father for you. Until then, we want to say that stay blessed, stay safe, and remember that any word that you say can give you peace or can take your freedom from you. And if you don't want your freedom to be taken from you, then learn how to live within your circle. May the Lord bless you, and may the Lord be with you. And ATL, may God bless you for dressing us. Until we meet next week, we say bye-bye. I'm your usual host, Mrs. Betty Adam.
Hope Channel, changing lives.